everyone. It's surely a pleasure to spend time with you. Always is. Matter of fact, I could probably sit here forever and talk to such beautiful souls out there. I'm hearing so many incredible stories, and those of you that are fighting the fight and winning this, it's just exciting to see that. And I know a lot of you are suffering and going through some tough times, but a lot of you guys are now starting to see your bodies pull away from this, getting your hands cleaned up. A lot of you, a lot of this with the psoriasis and all that, you're starting to see this go away. The pain's going away in the bodies and stuff. And if you hang in there, you'll see that happen. When you start to realize really the causative factors of things, and you realize the lymphatic system and acidosis, you realize you're up against a whole process of getting the body well. You just don't, snap a finger. Be nice, but as a rule, you got to unwind some things and, lift those cells up in their thinking, at the same time remove those acids that are biting them, and just get your body cleaned up like this. And so we're pretty much a mess, the human beings, with all the food sources that they've recommended us eat that didn't really fit into the scheme of the Homo sapien body. So we're just working through that, and you guys are doing a beautiful job. You Facebook people, I can't even say enough words to how beautiful it is. All you people in Australia are really knocking it out. I know Turkey is doing some things, and they need some help there. Romania is doing good. So you guys, we're trying. And I think that it's important to understand the essential need that we change this world and the focus of the thinking of the general healthcare systems, So I'm going to try to get involved and get some of I have so many questions from you guys, and I just wish I had time to get to them all. So I apologize. I'm trying. So hang in there. Just get that basic understanding of the lymph system and tear it up. Understand our protocols we're giving you, and you'll go forth and conquer. Now, this is Kate sent me in this. She asked me about reflex sympathetic dystrophy. I find this is funny because there's another word associated: complex regional pain syndrome, the shoulder hand syndrome, causology, and what was the other one? Sudex atrophy. My God, I think the problem has always been in these things, and of course this syndrome is just like anything else: swelling, burning, pain. When you feel burning, which side of chemistry do you think that one's on? Now, there's only two sides of chemistry, and it is true that if you get way up on the base or alkaline side, it's going to burn you, like lye and stuff. But let's bring it down to, basically what we're looking at here. And it's always the acid side of chemistry that causes the redness, it causes the swelling, causes the pain. This is all acidosis. So the question would be then, where does this acidosis come from? Stress? Does it come from what? Your lifestyle? It comes from all of that. But when you take a look at this, I think, and we've talked about this before, the kidney connection, do never forget that, because you'll see it more and more and more. A beautiful letter from a homeopath in Romania. And he's got all these pieces together for him, and that's just what I did. I took all these pieces and said, these pieces don't fit. We got to put them together so they fit properly, so we understand how things are. Because if there's no understanding of how things are and it doesn't fit in what seems to be truth, then there is definitely cause for, some alarm with that, and maybe we can shift that into the category of a theory, which, as we've talked about before, there's so much medical theory out there, and obviously most of it isn't true, because their practice demonstrates a high level of killing people and a high level of harm to people. There is no remedy in that field, so that shows you and demonstrates to you that the focus and the idealisms and the concepts and the theories are not true. So therefore you have to change and adapt your theory to what works, particularly in clinical work, because I'm sure most medical doctors really want to see their clients well. Those that are constipated and don't want to grow in the mind, they're just going to die on the vine. But there is a lot of beautiful medical doctors now that are sincere in wanting to help people and are open to avenues that actually work. So it does have to change, because sometimes your growth and your understanding of truth is oxymoron, or a contraire, shall I say, to that which you were educated from. This is the problem with academics. Not all books are true. And this is one of the problems. Books are written by what? Other humans. So you have to understand that when you pick up a book, you know, don't sit there and believe everything it says. Sit back and see if it fits into what you know is true. You're the meter, and what you know and what you think you know. And I think it's important sometimes that we keep open and not try to develop strong idealisms of we think we know the truth and we're not, because I'm always open. I'm always open to anything that will help someone detox better or strengthen better, as long as I haven't had experiences with it. It is botanical in nature. I just got talking to one guy, and he's, of course, heavy into the minerals and things like this. And this drum has been beat and beat and beat and beat. The high impact of minerals in the human body, this whole focus has been beat up so bad, and yet, you know, there's a lot of claims. Well, if I pump heavy minerals into the body, they act then as stimulants. And then you'll find some of your symptoms going away. It's just like calcium. I pump your body with calcium. As long as I have a fairly decent parathyroid, I won't give you arthritis. But I can strengthen some fingernails and stuff, and then take you off of the calcium, and guess what happens to your fingernails? They go back, because there's no curative issue with minerals. They might be somewhat of a detoxifier, but they don't have the astringents. They're not the level of focus I would like that I would use here. And I've seen people use minerals, heavy mineral ingestion for years, and sometimes with very negative results. So you got to be very careful, because remember utilization. And this is also true of minerals. Utilization of nutrients comes predominantly on what shoulder? The adrenal shoulder, absolutely. The adrenal glands are key to the utilization, but what are the two processes before utilization? Digestion and absorption. If you don't digest your foods, you're done right there. If you don't absorb your foods, that's the second place you're done. And then you have to utilize. Well, most people's glands are down. So when you're trying to focus on the nutrition, and you're gonna correct all these symptoms that people are having, from the cancer to the arthritis to the type 1s to all this, you're going to ram minerals in a person and you're going to cure these things, you're greatly mistaken. Because there's no curative value there. You have to understand why the person's having problems, why the glands are down, what's causing this, and understanding that route. And then it'll lead you back to the route all you guys are listening to on this YouTube, because I've done the heavy mineral ingestion. I've done all those things through the years. Now they probably have better delivery systems and stuff like that, but okay, you're still playing in the ground. You still have your head in Mother Earth. And you got to lift up out of that. These are spiritual times more, and you got to lift out of that. There's a much greater way to clean and regenerate the human body. And I do say clean. So you can use mineral baths and clay baths for detoxification, absolutely. But if you're looking at that as a curative issue, you're greatly mistaken, because it's never been, never has. We have people in here all the time demonstrated this to me, not just my own experiences, but all the tens of thousands of people that I've seen. I just see what I see. You wouldn't be coming in. And I want to know who did this one. That was funny. That was real funny. I love that one. That's more me for sure, man. I am a rock and roller dude. I'm a 12-string guitarist, though. I like the 12-string better. So when we go to this reflex sympathetic dystrophy, Kate, this is your lymphatic system, sweetheart. And if anything's down, like the nervous system or anything, is just down from that. But what brings tissue down? What suppresses the function? What creates burning? What creates inflammation? And you notice they don't have a reason, because it's simply the lymph system, and that's why it's systemic. That's why you have different symptoms in different places. Shoulder, I mean, come on. This is all systemic issue. And this is just all simple acidosis, and you have to correct it. Doesn't matter what factors it affects in the blood or anything else, because when you go this way, all the factors correct themselves. So let's go to this huge pile. Wow, I've got a lot of them to go through here. So this is Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, for your comment there. Love it. Love you guys, really do. My question is, when one is in detox mode, the mental, emotional is detoxing as well as the physical. My personal experience is that the emotional can be responsible for releasing some vicious stuff. Absolutely. Oh, When I think of some of the journeys some of these souls have been on, and some of the, I mean, you go back on this planet alone, torture wasn't that far back. And right now there's probably still torture going on. I know we instill some on people, but you go back and all the serious problems, and then you still have a lot of souls hurting other souls in gross ways. So it's like that doctor. They found a doctor tied up in her basement and burned to death. I mean, where does this kind of, the bad karma that is on that side just keeps soul tied to this plane. Keeps people coming back and working like that. And it's just, they don't get it. So it's just sad that we don't have the spirituality being forecast on this planet as much. We have a lot of Hindus and talking and Buddhists and things, and a lot of people kind of getting to it, but we really need to get to the mainstay of people in a balanced way so people don't feel it's a religious thing and that it is truly a God thing that affects everyone. You have to see God as the sun that shines on all life indiscriminately. The sun, the rays of the sun doesn't care who's enjoying its beauty. Always feeling better after the chew, but often hurtful words are spoken. I know, and this is part of the problems. And I think that you have to be detached. If you have a loved one going through this, I know. So you have to be somewhat detached and understand and hope they come out of it because there is a lot of emotional and painful past experiences people have hidden inside. That's why I say don't hide anything inside. This is medical thinking. Suppress, treat, stop. No. Expectorate, get rid of, let go, clean out. Much better philosophy in all levels. And you got to get to the point where you don't care anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Only thing that matters is the all of the all. And even that, you can't even make God matter to a point where you can actually keep yourself separate from God. And you just have to the simplicity of this is the difficulty of this. Living in the moment, living in the now is so simple, yet so very hard to do but what if the mind? And that sort of thing. And so these bodies you have, they clamor for attention. Look at the ego, clamors for attention. And so you have to understand those bodies and keep them separate and keep your allness and not separate yourself from anything. Absorb into the all of the all. And when you do that, that auric shield will come around you and protect you. And you will also enjoy the expanded awareness that it gives you because you start seeing truth more because you're away from your opinions, you're away from your concepts that limit you to those concepts. Every opinion you have, every concept you have, that limits your allness to see all things. And do you really care if you have an opinion about something? Who cares? You want to know what works, you want to know what is, but you have to be careful about holding on to opinions and idealism because the next thing you know, there's something new and it's, oh yeah. Or if you get opinionated, like a lot of medical doctors are heavily opinionated, oh, I've been cussed out, I've been called every name in the book. Because they herbs, they're toxic, they'll hurt you. It's like, these are opinions that have no basis in truth. And yet people believe them. And this is the problem. You don't want opinions, and you want to get yourselves where you don't reincarnate. So you're going to have there's a lot of emotional detox. And by the way, there can be a lot of pain associated with this mental detox too. I mean, detoxification isn't all fun and joy. There's no question about that. And that's what separates the men from the boys, no question, and your detoxification specialist, the person that's helping you to detoxify. They need to clue you in on these emotional detoxes and also mental detoxes. You're going to watch those thoughts that come in, but when thoughts come in like the waves on the beach, don't let them in. You can look at them. You can look at the thought and let it go. Don't get caught up in the thought. You can view maybe a past experience, a traumatic past experience, but give it love because you're separate from that experience now. You must separate yourself from creation. Yeah, you still got some bodies here. Okay, you're going to make them healthy, but you're not going to pull yourself in the drama anymore or it'll beat you up. It's a good ride to a certain point, but then it brings you to the universal question. Is it better to know, or is it better not to know? Is it better to stay unconscious and play the drama, or is it better to know and see the drama for what it is, even though that presents itself with other levels of issues? So you have to work those things out within yourself. What level do you want to experience at? But the emotional detox, now what gland is the emotional detox hooked to? Adrenal glands, absolutely. What about ego and mind detoxing? Absolutely. Thyroid, parathyroid, absolutely. Part of the recipient, if they were responsible for what goes around part, well, yeah, I know. What does this impact my karma? Oh, no, you don't have to, I apologize for asking if this has been, don't be apologetic. That's Kathy O'Callahan. Well, all I can say, Kathy, is that you know, you just have to start acting in love as much as you can. And I know some of these things can be tormentful and, you know, wreck people's psychics. And it's just, you just have to start being and giving love. Just be God. Just be God. Use ethics. Try to stop the ego. It doesn't matter anymore. It really, go beyond yourself. Your little self doesn't matter anymore, because the real self is where all the answers, where all the nirvanic or blessed experiences are. And you want to be that, which is. For some of you don't want that, and that's okay. So this is not addressing those that want to stay where they are. Don't take offense with this. Some people, you know, we have all levels on YouTube, and we want to, I respect all your levels, and let's respect that amongst ourselves. So I accept your level of thinking. I expect a level. I have opinions on health and stuff, of course, and spirituality, and I hope those opinions are based primarily on experience. And I'll give some ideas of what I think what could lead into problems. But again, you know, if you want to know, you jump right into the experience and take it on, and then you'll really know what it affords you. So in those cases, I would learn how to control the way I communicate. Especially if you're the one having the emotional breakdowns. You want to get on the beach, take your shoes off, ground yourself, get into the mountains, ground yourself, spend time with the self and nature, and let nature wrap you. But at the same time, you want to pull away and put that on the outside, because you're from a far different place than this one, yet you're all in the all. So very hard to describe until you practice shutting down that mind a little bit. And shutting down the limitation it affords you, and getting into yourself, which is unlimited. And that's the beauty of yourself. Same with you, Kathy. You're an unlimited being, and you must accept that and know that. And in that divinity, you give forth the love and succor, because you don't need anything anymore. You have everything you could possibly ever need, and that is yourself. And the all that is the all. Now your bodies, they might need a little help. They might need cleaned out. They might need rebuilt. The emotions need to be under control better. Don't take in. Learn to control those emotions. The mind, definitely control thoughts. And don't open like an open book, because people can sit in your consciousness. We're just talking about that this morning, about entities sitting in people's consciousness there. And this is another one, Kathy. P.S. My head is in a very strange place, and if my email makes no sense. It does make total sense. Now here's another thing. Here's another side of this. Be careful about getting unbalanced spiritually. And that's a problem when you open up or play with the Kundalini. And this is an example for people that do play with the Kundalini. Why waste your time? You're the nectar. You're the one. You're not trying to achieve. If you want to play with it, go from the crown chakra out. Don't play with your lower chakras. Why? You're wasting time, and it's unnecessary, because you're playing a game on yourself, because you're already the self. There's nothing outside of you. And when you understand who you really are, then you understand why there's nothing outside of the all, the you. That alone exists. So always remember that little word, that alone exists. And when you really understand that, you will have God consciousness, and that's a trip. As much as you can have and maintain a human body, I'll put it that way. This is Rena. Hi, Dr. Morse. I have a question about hypothyroid issues. I have estrogen dominance, so I seem to be very hypothyroid. I don't know why that would matter, sweetheart. My oral temperatures in the morning is 96. Ooh. Oral, huh? Well, if your basals are a degree less than that, that's pretty cold. By night, it will go up to 96.9, 97. That's oral, though. My resting pulse is somewhere between 65 and 70. I should also note that I have been a runner for many years, so I understand its effect on my adrenals. In correspondence to this, I have not had my period for about 2 years. it has never been regular. So let's stop right there. And let's go tie that monthly cycle problem back to estrogen dominance. Now, we can blame the ovaries. And it's true that the lymph system backs up in the ovaries, can suppress estrogen, progesterone. It can do that. But I think when you see the monthly cycles irregular and the estrogen dominance, I think safely, and with the thyroid down, I can safely go right up here to your pituitary, dear. And remember, we talk about the pituitary as the controller of FSH, that's follicle stimulating hormone, that's ovarian. And then you got your TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, your PTH, parathyroid stimulating hormone. These all come out of the pituitary. So it sounds like here you have a pituitary issue going on, sweetheart. If you do, then you know it's tied to your colon here, and who knows what's going on in the sinuses and everything. It could really be backed up there. And so you have to candle your ears, clean your sinuses, get your bowels cleaned up so the sinuses can drain, get your kidneys and adrenals on. But I would use a glandular for the pituitary there, but wouldn't go overboard with that. Maybe a New Zealand glandular for the pituitary, 3 times a day, 1 bottle, and see how that does. Or if you want to go slower, then get on the female reproductive, which will reach up and touch the pituitary. I'd probably get on the female reproductive anyway, but I would definitely look at that pituitary because it could be suppressing the thyroid. You could have a thyroid weakness on top of that even. So that's where your eyes would come in, take a look and see your eyes and see if you have a thyroid. If I was going to go after that and didn't know, I'd probably do the pituitary for a month, glandular, with the adrenal glandular, and then I would come off the pituitary and go on a thyroid glandular and a parathyroid glandular for a month. And then stop and reevaluate. Check your basal temperatures under your arms. Don't do your oral. See where you're at. It is really showing in my skin. And I have just started taking the New Zealand thyroid glandular, and for over a year and a half I have been eating a primary raw diet. Good deal. With the glandular cure my hypothyroid, or will I always have to monitor it? No, this whole thing is about cure. You know, and I'll use that word because not curing from disease, but curing as a way of finding your remedy. In other words, making the tissue healthy again. So it takes you back to understanding what 2 things affect the health of a cell, or the vitality of a cell, or the functionability, what I call, of a cell. And that, of course, goes into its genetic memories. It's mind. Just like your mind affects your functionability. If I get you out of your mind, your functionability goes way up. But with the mind, it's limited to what you fed into. It's like a computer. Computer is only limited by what it's fed, what it's conditioned. And same thing with your mind. Same thing. That's how they got the idea of a computer, is the idea of how the mind works. And so the same type of thing, but you're not the computer, you're not the mind, you're something outside of that. And that's that consciousness that gives the mind some intelligence, some ability to have awareness or functionability. So that's always the case when you're looking at cell functionability, is its genetic print. On the other, that's in the causal world, by the way. On the other side of that is what suppresses cells in the first place. Even genetically, what initially starts the downward slide of cell functions? Well, you do have trauma, so let's exclude that as a possibility, but it is a possibility of trauma, injury, and let's go right to most causative factors. That's acids in the lymph system. Because if not, you're on the blood side and the base side. Well, that's not what hurts people. If your blood hurts you, like I said, you wouldn't be alive long enough to feel it too long, maybe 3-4 minutes. So the thyroid, the glandulars are just to empower the cells to wake up from its genetic slumber. And then as you begin to move that lymph, you start to empower that tissue and get those tissues healthy by cleaning the lymph, getting good nutrition, and you're good. Everybody's good. Thyroid's whole. Everybody's good. It is the rebuilding or regeneration of the tissue, which is the cells. And that's all a chemical and energetic experience. There's a lot more to this than I've discussed. Some of it takes people out into a realm that might be a little scary, or might freak people out in some of the way. But, plants have awareness. And you have to understand, every plant here has its own reason for being here. It's not here just as a plant hanging out for no reason. God doesn't do anything for no reason. There's nothing created for no reason. Everything has its fit in creation and its job to do in the scheme of the whole. Same with you. So this is all pieces of the whole. That's all it is. So, I don't want to go too far out that way because it but there's more reasons than just chemical of why we use the fruits, berries, and melons over the vegetables or anything else. Everything has its own level and its own ability to have an effect at these different levels. And man is at a much higher level than he realizes. And that's only because his diet has kept him down. And now that you're increasing, you see all the beautiful spiritual people on YouTube and all the people awakening and stuff. It's a beautiful thing. But it's time. It's time to lift the head up out of the sand because this planet is crashing. And you want to get your things in order. I also live in Hawaii. Look at that. This person has access to all kinds of fruit, where we get series of volcanoes. Well, if you can bottle it and sell it, you might be able to make money, because they like to sell everything volcanic. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. That you have a lot of toxicity with that. So I don't know what to say about that. Protect thyself from that sort of thing. This is from Christophe? I understand that diseases are related to the acidity that I had already understood, but you have enlightened. Oh, thanks, man. But I have two questions. How do we heal the hemorrhoids, and do you think that emotions created diseases? No, but I think emotions are controlled by what gland? The adrenal glands, and they sit on what organs? Kidneys. So when the adrenals are under stress, or you're under stress, you notice that you're going to see your adrenals coming, because that keeps you pumping. You notice how when sometimes under stress it perpetuates, or anger perpetuates itself, because then you're kicking into the epinephrines and the norepinephrines, the adrenals. You want to relax and get the epinephrines and the dopamines and the acetylcholines going. You want to in other words, you just want to relax and let your kidneys filter. In a stress or in high energetic needs, your kidneys are going to stop filtering. That's just the nature of the beast. As soon as your kidneys don't filter, you feel it. Stiffness, tightness. If you already have acidosis in places, you're going to see an increase in those. Another thing you're going to see is an increase in the size of your tumors. I'm just saying, you just don't do that. And people ask me about traveling under high conditions of cancer and things like this, and I don't do it. Get a place that you find real comfortable and cozy and relax, and just embrace nature in every way. Embrace the earth, embrace the foods, embrace all of this, and it'll pull you out of it. It'll bring balance to an imbalanced body. And it's just the only way to do it. If you go man's way, power the body up with clays and minerals and power the body, you're just walking down a road that isn't sustainable. It isn't addressing causative factors and things like this. And that's just another level of thinking, that's all. Hemorrhoids, though. Again, vascular wall weakness. So you want to strengthen that. And with what? Let's see if this was no, this is another one. Think about parathyroid gland. So you could use a parathyroid glandular, or use the endocrine gland tincture. I would also use the Bones formula and lower circulation to strengthen the vascular wall. All the fruits, berries, and melons are full of flavonoids. They strengthen the vascular walls. So all those things together help to do that. You could do some short little enemas with Heal All Tea, help to strengthen the wall topically, like that. But this is an internal connective tissue issue. And connective tissue goes right back up to the parathyroid again. So look at that. And that'll lead you to the pituitary, or just to the parathyroid itself, As Dr. Hammer or Total Biology says, because I realize that it is often applied. Okay. Oh, so the two questions were hemorrhoids and emotions. Yeah, the only way emotions do, like I said, is shut down your kidneys. And then, of course, they control what system? Yep, the lymphatic system, and that's where all the pain, that's where all the swelling, that's where all the cancer, that's where all of it is, guys. Most of it. Easy to clean the blood. Easy to clean the blood, as long as you clean the liver and spleen with it, right? Now, this is Sherry. I have a question about the herbs. Is the liquid herb stronger than the capsules? No. I thought so But no, what we're finding is the capsules are much more stronger than the liquids. And I have a 1-to-4 concentrate, which in a percolation, distillation type of issue is as strong as you can get and still have a medium there to deal with. And so that, and then we let it sit, we distill for 30 days or close to it. So as strong as you can get almost. I know MediHerbs goes 1-to-1, 1-to-2, but you're way out there. You have to dry, re-dry. I mean, there's a lot of processes, and by then I think you're starting to lose the herb a little bit. Homeopathics to me, good for treatment-based thinking, but I like the power. As strong as you can get an herbal formula, better to go pick and do, that's for sure. The capsules last longer for me because on the liquid I have to take 2 dropperfuls. Does my weight because I am over 250 pounds. Well, you know what? Back down off the liquids. You could come down off of that and do a dropper and a half would be adequate. I don't care. That's plenty of herb in you. I know I had almost an 800-pound man here, and we were doing 4 to 6 dropperfuls with him. Big man. In the process of eating mainly fruits, I am slowly losing weight, which always is a good thing. I want the herbs to be strong to help me detox, but the liquid doesn't last as long. We'll go to the capsules. And go to the teas, and the capsules, and let them help you that way. Absolutely. I know it's all an expense. Unfortunately, everything costs us. Everything is an expense, unfortunately. But when I look at how other companies price their herbs and what they pay for them, our profit margins are so much less than most companies. Now I have these glycerin infused formulas coming. They're going to be $1 more. This company won't sell to us at any type of reasonable price. So that's a problem. So we're working on it. But we have to deal with that because we don't do infusion-based herbs, glycerin infused. So it's going to cost us a little bit to buy them. Well, we offer wholesale prices for practitioners, which we have very little profit with that. Very little profit with that. And if we don't do volume with that, it's almost not even worth it, especially for those that want accounts set up. We almost went under here a few years ago trying to help all these practitioners in carrying some kind of 30-day, because a lot of people don't pay within their time frame. Well, we're a small little company, so it did affect us negatively. And then we have from the class members, we have another level that you get into, which is the local distributors. And of course, we make more profit there, but still not like we need to run a company with it and pay employees. So we're trying to offer help through the years at every level we can. So it's just a lot more to it than a lot of people realize. I am trying to keep taking the herbs. We'll go to the capsule, sweetheart. I wish I could take them all. And do twice a day if you want. Twice a day could be adequate for some people. So do them twice a day instead of 3 times a day. If you're going after, you got cancer or something and you want to get yourself healthy with that, then go 3 times a day. But for generally, twice a day is adequate, I think. I have a lot of detoxing to do to my body. We'll keep that high fruit, berry, and melon level. Remember, you got that side helping you too. I have leaned on mainly watermelons and grapes, my favorites, and I am shocked on what I have been missing all these years because I am feeling the energy and wellness from that. Isn't that good? I love that. This is the thing. People just are about power packing nutrition and it's like, no, life is simpler. Much simpler, and you begin to see that, And I don't know where people got in the idea that these foods weren't good to eat. I don't know where that came from. So I'm glad you're doing better there, Sherry. Good deal. And just go twice a day. You'll be good. Go to the capsules as much as you can. I wish I would have found you so many years. Oh, that's okay, Sherry. Much love to you, Sherry from Louisiana. Now, this is Beaver Sandux. That's a tongue fluffer. Thank you so much. This guy found us from Dan the Man. How is Dan the Man? Haven't heard from the man. I am 50 years old, 5 foot tall, and weigh 105 pounds. Is this a man or a woman? Oh, this is Carol. Hi, sweetheart. This is a lady. All right. She's only 5 foot tall. Immediately, what does that tell you? Pituitary. definitely. That's the first thing that speaks out in my mind. You're only 5 foot tall. Nothing wrong with 5 foot tall. I love 5. My sister's 5'1". But it just shows that that pituitary is probably involved in your case. 1997, my holistic doctor told me I had Candida albicans. So I quit dairy and wheat and felt much better over time. See this over time? Takes too much time just to eliminate some things. You got Candida, get on Parasitum or get on some kind of herbal antifungal and clean it out. But get your lymph system moving and fix your adrenal glands so you can start metabolizing sugars better. Stay away from the starch, too much sugar to metabolize anyway. 2009, I quit eating beef and pork except one piece of bacon with my eggs. 2012, November 21st, bacon! Bacon! I smell bacon! Old farm boy and bacon. While looking for a recipe for Thanksgiving, I found Dan the Man. Good, 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 good. I have been raw since November 21st. Pretty good. I did not eat dead food on Thanksgiving. It was an easy transition. Good for you. Carol. 3 days after going raw, I noticed no more inflammation in my joints. That sold me. No kidding. Isn't it cool? I'm telling you, it's so simple, guys, and we try to make too much out of it. I don't care if people do this and this and this, but when you try this level first and see where it gets you, then you can go down and try the other levels. But this level is so much fun. I know it's some restrictive dietarily, but it really isn't, because there's so many great melons, so many great fruits, so many great berries, and if you want vegetables, there's so many great vegetables. So it's like, wow, there's no starvation here. This is where all the nutrition and energy is. There's starvation in dead animal meat, there's starvation in grains, there's starvation in these levels. Nothing that's real bioavailable there. A lot of digestive needs and a lot of enzyme inhibitors and phytic acids and a lot of things involved in this sort of thing. High proteins, heavy conglomeration, if you will, of amino acids. All this stuff, way too much. Keep it simple. Second and third week, I had an anal itch, now gone. 1 month, I went from 115 pounds down to 105, naturally speaking. I bruise at work a lot, lifting and... Okay, so here's another case of bruising. Where do we go? We go to the parathyroid gland and calcium utilization. This, again, connective tissue weakness. Want to take care of that, or you'll start getting spider veins, varicose veins, and, of course, hemorrhoids, and fingernail loss, bone loss, etc., etc., etc. And it heals. Now, she bruises. Now it's healing much faster. Now, that's those rich flavonoids in those fruits and berries and melons. I've noticed no more foggy brain. Isn't that pretty cool? That's pretty cool, Carol. And for 2 weeks, I kept biting the front inside of my mouth at the corners of my lips while chewing food. After 2 months, I noticed my feet didn't hurt after work anymore. I work in a very busy kitchen. Right now, my face and back is breaking out, and I notice my candida is acting up. Use Parasitum to go after that. Notice that your skin is taking up the role. That means your kidneys are probably at issue here, which we know is classic. And then the adrenals. So take care of those two things. Get those kidneys filtering again. That'll pull the lymph away from the skin more. Use the skin formula if you want to help that. Make sure you're sweating, because it looks like there could be a little parathyroid here. Check and see if there's a thyroid. Check your basal temperatures under your arm. If you're a little below, say 97, I'll take 97.6 in today's world of thyroids, but anything below 97.6 or 5, you're definitely going to feel a little cooler, and you might want to pop that up a little bit. Again, associating the thyroid with what? The pituitary. So the more you look at a case and the more you see more of the endocrine glands involved, and you see someone 5 foot and their menses was irregular, you know immediately it takes you right to the pituitary, and then suppressing all the other glands. So you always should work on that when you have a situation like this. The first sign is always, I can't lay or sit back and apply pressure on my back, for it gets very itching. Well, you probably are full of candida there, but you know what? Just do a candida cleanse with the Parasitum. At the same time, move your lymph, and this will start pulling all this down through the kidneys and get yourself clean. I'm glad you could come in and visit me. Also, my tongue is heavy coated with white yeast. Exactly. So you're just loaded. You're just loaded up here. But you just detox that out, sweetheart. It just shows how bad your bowels are in that way, too. I use the tough scraper every time I brush. Yeah. I know it. Baking soda gets it off, but I am not sure if this is a good use. Yeah, you could wash your mouth out with that. Biggest problem for me is fruit all morning. It doesn't keep me filled. I need solids, veggies. This is why I ordered the Parasite. Good take right here, because I feel like I am so hungry at the time. Absolutely. And do a big green drink mid-morning might help you a little bit there. A nice green drink. Get the beets, get the parsley, get the dandelion greens when they come in season. Really get some kidney adrenal herbs in there. At the same time, good greens, the beet bulbs to help pull the liver and kidney clean, and really start working on that. Had 2 colonics so far, and today I ordered 2 kidneys. Good deal. A Year Old Autistic. Go, you're right on the rim. Do you think these herbs for products for and my symptoms are enough to start out with? Thank you there, Carol in Pennsylvania. Well, I like stomach and bowel, number whatever. 1 if you're moving your bowels every day. I like Lymphatic 1 capsules because you're going to start pulling and cleaning the bowel wall more aggressively, and then you're going to absorb systemically. It's a good lymph node lymphatic formula. Kidney number 1, kidney number 2, obviously, until you start filtering, go after the adrenals. Either get the adrenal tincture, especially if you have low blood pressure, the endocrine gland tincture, or go to a glandular. If you have chronic adrenals, glandulars work much quicker. You can be forever with the herbs in terms of getting real chronic glands woke up a little bit. And then go down that road. I would definitely do a pituitary glandular, and then next 2 months I would do a thyroid and parathyroid glandular. Do your Parasite M, clean out your liver a little bit for a month, deworm yourself. In case you have worms, that's Parasite G. Do that. Do a bottle of that. See if you see anything in the stools. If you do, take another one. Wait about a month and do another one. Make sure any eggs that are hatched come out. And you don't create any more. Sometimes it's a long process if someone's heavily parasitic up. And you go down that way. You're doing good. Good, Carol. This is Sherry. Sherry lips. I like that. Sweet cherry lips. 1111. Oh, I love that. 1111. The one, but the all. If you look at that, it shows the individuality of the self, but the oneness of it all. And that's what's happening. Everybody's pulling more into the self, not the mind, the self, which is called self-realization. And then from there, it becomes God realization. You have to understand who you are before you can even begin to understand who God is. So that's always what you saw in the past. You always looked for self-realization and then God realization. Sherry Lips, what's up? I have a few questions. Thank you for taking the time to answer them. I've lived in Southern Cal almost all my life. I would tan easy as a child from being out in the sun, swimming, staying out of the sun. As a teen and young adult, my skin color was a beautiful milky white. My grandmother was that. She did never get in the sun because she lost all her teeth and everything else. But, from the lack of the sun, but her skin was pretty, soft and white. Ever since I developed adrenal fatigue, I now tan easy, even though I try to remain out of the sun. Can weak adrenals make your skin darker? I can't say that I would know that. I don't know any part about the adrenals that could do that unless you're dealing in that vitamin D calcium thing, and there's a steroid involved in that I'm unaware of. And it's possible. There's too much to be aware of. So absolutely, it might. I would think more pituitary again in this one because that controls skin pigmentation. So I would be more liking to think of the pituitary and that ability of skin tones to be involved there. Just my own thinking. I am taking most of the God's herbal supplements along with the GI broom. How you like that GI broom? And Year Old tea, dandelion and nettle tea. Fantastic. And superfood bin. Ooh, man, you're pumping your body full. However, I find myself needing to take breaks from the herbs. Possible. When they're real strong, do 5 days on and 1 or 2 days off. Give yourself a day or two off a week. And if they're too strong, back down to twice a day. And if they're too strong, go to a half a dropper full. You can always play with that because everybody's different. If you're real small, you could go down a little bit. So go down with that and see how that plays out. In the future, we'll have these glycerin infused. Let's see how they work. It'll be interesting. I'm going to experiment them with first to see if they actually will have the effect of good detoxification, especially with diabetics and adrenal weakness. a week or two, that's okay. You know, you just keep, this is all right. You just keep working it and working it, have fun working it. When it's too much, get back. You know, nothing wrong with going like this a little bit down that road. You know, I can't say my road was totally smooth. I mean, I finally got rid of Haagen-Dazs carob ice cream when I felt like I didn't want to pay the mucus price again. But that was a treat. After 3 or 4 months totally on fruits, sometimes a little break. And Haagen-Dazs had the best carob ice cream then. And man, that was bad. Polish that baby down and then go and just couldn't hardly breathe with all the mucus. Was it worth it? At one level, yeah, and the big level, no. But that's what you get into when you're at these levels. It makes junk eating so much better. In the evenings, I eat salad sometimes, or I will have steamed butternut squash or steamed sweet potato with guacamole on it. Ooh, that sounds really good. Is this overall food and herbal intake all right? Absolutely. You know, when you really want to kick it up, go on a little grape diet or a grape juice diet for 10, 20, 30, 40 days. The 40-day grape fast, you got to try it. Kicker. But those sort of things. And then come back and balance out. You can go a little like this. You don't have to go tear it up all the time. It can be unbalancing for some people, especially with what we talked about earlier with emotional detoxing. Sometimes you have to ground in that a little bit. And so whatever you need to keep yourself stable and grounded, knowing what the goal is and what the process is, there's nothing, no one's over anybody with a club here with me. I don't act like some of these people that try to say straight and narrow, because some of them ain't doing so good either, note. So you just, balance is a good key to have in keeping yourself here well, because right now, if you notice, people are going crazy out here. And so get out of your minds right now. There's too many avenues of control in that level. So the more you learn about the now, that's why it's been brought out right now, and was brought out way back. And so now you're seeing books popularizing that whole essential need to stop the mind and get outside of that. For those souls that recognize that, that's your survival. For those that are not, you know, just learn what you can. Let me see. As far as fats are concerned, I find myself having to have at least 1 avocado a day. Okay. Sometimes 2 during the winter. Absolutely. I just bought some avocados this morning. I can't wait to get home and have some avocado. I am going to have a veggie sandwich, meaning that I put everything under the sun on a couple of multi-grain breads. That's what gets me right there. Keeps my weight on. But, you know, but I'm going to stack it. I put avocado, and I do a little of the beefsteak tomatoes, and then I put cucumbers, and then I put sliced yellow or orange peppers. And then when I don't want to do the bread, then I don't do the bread, of course. I love to take cucumbers and dip it in avocados. Use cucumbers to use as your snack, like chips and stuff like this. If you have to go to a chip for anything, go a corn chip, an organic corn chip, or an organic rice chip. Corn is a no-brainer. Nobody digests it. Rice, okay. Once you process these things, if you have a dehydrator, though, you can make some good corn chips, dehydrated corn chips that you can dip. Now, with that said, if you're on a road of trying to get tumors out of you and everything else, keep that to a minimum at night, but through the day, fruits, berries, and melons. I find myself having to have it, okay, sometimes 2 in the winter, okay. No problem with the avocados, dear. I've been eating this way for almost a year now. I fell off the wagon a few times. Don't feel bad. We all have. And cheated with raw gourmet food, brown rice, eggs, and a couple times of fish a few times. But that's not going to stop you as you're moving your train down the road. If you stop a minute and grab something, okay, you know, you got to realize that we have all these security stops that we've learned to nestle in with our emotions. And sometimes we have to make a security stop. And then we just, okay, and then we just go and we don't look back, we just keep on going. Maybe I'll do better next time, and maybe I won't even let that security stop even register in my mind. I know where I'm going, so I had to stop a minute. Okay, I'm going on. And don't worry about the small, don't let it beat you up. You know, I used to let it rip me apart. Oh, I tried so hard and I disciplined myself so much, and look what I did. And I learned not to do that so much. But it did drive me to become a fruitarian and drove me to be mono-eating and drove me up there. But, you know, also it felt good to balance out a little bit. Let me see here. Otherwise, it's been 95%, 100% raw fruits, veggies most of the time with a very high fruit intake. I think that's perfect. You're right on tune. I think you're good. Yet I am still tired every day and still look very sick and have almost the symptoms. Well, you know what? If you're having this problem, then kick it up. Kick it up to another level. Go on a 10-day grape fast. I mean, kick it up. Go deeper. Go deeper. Go deeper. And get on the right herbal formulas. You sound like you're doing really good right here. Going after the kidneys. You're going after the gut. You're going after the adrenal glands. Get on your adrenal glandular or something and really build that up. And go that way. Because what's happening, you're off of stimulants. Except for that piece of fish, you're off of neurotransmitter stimulants. So your adrenals are going to go, ah. And that's what they do. Anytime you pull somebody off of meat, you're going to go, ugh. And that's because meat is neurotransmitters, acts like steroids and hormones. Take you a little while to come back out of that. And a lot of people mistaken that for the need for protein. No. That's not a need for protein. That's a need for neurotransmitters. That's your nervous system. That's what makes you feel tired or up. Movement or not movement. That's the nervous system. The autonomic nervous system. Yet I am taking almost all the herbal formulas. Kick your diet up into a little bit of a grape fasting or something and see how you do and get deeper into the body. Get a picture of your eyes up there and maybe we'll put it on the YouTube, you know. Your detox can end whenever you want it to end. You don't have to end it in May or any other time. End your detox whenever you want it to end. I am curious in knowing why healing the adrenals can be so challenging and take so long. Well, that is a good question. While much more serious threats, such as cancer, can be healed within a few weeks to a few months. Well, I'll tell you this. Again, let's go talk about that, because when you deal with someone with cancer, they definitely have the adrenals down, right? Well, sometimes it isn't real quick for them. It depends their karma. It depends on how much emotional ties they have that's suppressing their adrenals. It depends how much letting go they do. There's a lot of variables in terms of what's suppressing your adrenal glands. And then, of course, the catch-22 is the kidneys get backed up, and then the adrenals get backed up lymphatically, but you got to turn the kidneys on, and you need the adrenals, but they're shut down because of the lymph. But to get the lymph filtering, you got to get the kidneys filtering, but to get the kidneys filtering, you got to get the adrenals turned back on, but the adrenals suppressed because of the lymph. See what I'm saying? That's why you do the best you can. You keep pulling, you keep drawing, you keep doing the very best you can. You really do. You get the glands up the best you can. That's why I'm saying in a highly suppressed situation, there's nothing like the glandulars. If you're not into that, okay, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And I understand why then you're going to have to hit the licorices, you're going to have to hit the adrenal formulas, and you're going to have to really try to work in that way. At the same time, keep connecting to that higher source of energy yourself, God force. You know, be a God person. Absorb into God. Absorb yourself into the all of everything. And see if that energy will come through and clean you a little bit. Do contemplation. Open yourself up and let the God energy, no one else, the God energy come through. Get that golden light shining through and moving through you. At the same time, let it clean you. Let it clean you out. Let everything go. Use your mind if you have to clean out thoughts and clean out things that might be stored in there. At the same time, relax. Relax your back. Relax your back muscles. At the same time, learn how to breathe properly. Did I breathe properly? No, I did not breathe properly. If I breathe like this, I'm not breathing properly, am I? I want to breathe down here. So learn all these techniques of bringing more oxygen in, relaxing. And also might do the brain and nerve, number 2 or number 1. Empower that nervous system with some herbs. And strengthen that nervous system. You can always do all these things. And then there's a lot of herbs that are strengthening herbs. So I've got a good formula coming. It's a cellular rebuilder. Should really kick up the power there. The God's Blend, you're already on that. But power up with the superfoods. And relax. And just let life happen. Because you can't force things sometimes. We're so used to treatment-based thinking that when we find ourselves in advanced conditions, it's a trip because you're in a process of getting back. There isn't no remedy. That's a carrot in front of man's nose. Picture donating a lot. They love that donation. You know, my eyes were opened a little bit the other day talking to this beautiful woman who had worked in gene and in stem cell work, and I was amazed at her comment that nothing's happening in that system. You know what? Because we can regenerate. I saw on the news this guy holding this sign, need a kidney. So the guy standing on the street corner wanting somebody to give him a kidney. So this lady said, I decided I would help this poor man and give him one of my kidneys. Please, we've got to teach people how to regenerate kidney tissue and not pull them out of other people who need them desperately. Do not tell people how to regenerate their kidney tissue. It's a real good tissue to regenerate, and that's essential to regenerate. This whole thing is medically focused, and this is the problem. Now we're begging for other people's organs. This is out of control. This is out of sight. There's no responsibility on the individual, and there's no responsibility on the rebuilding of the individual. And that's where we need to be. We can no longer go down the path of treatment-based thinking and that, oh, when the blood work says something, we'll just believe that 100% and we'll go tear out a liver and replace it. I've seen liver transplants on ridiculous things like high liver or high viral loads. And the liver enzymes, not that high. One guy just told a lady that she needed to have a new liver. Her liver enzymes are elevated by maybe 25 points, which is nothing. The alkaline phosphatase is not elevated much. Her viral load is up there, big deal. You don't see any breakdown of the liver, you don't see any other signs that show that, but a high viral load, big deal. And they want her to have a new liver. I've seen that many times, many times. I have been taking the Heal All tea and the eye wash for 2 weeks now. I still have more tea and eye wash left. Well, that hopefully that'll last you a long time. That eye wash bottle should last you many, many months, if not longer. You know, you don't have to do it every day. I mean, do it every day for a month or something, and then keep it in the medicine cabinet if you need it for the future. The Heal All tea, hopefully it'll last you a long time. Absolutely. When should I stop taking these products? Or is it okay to finish these products? Well, the eye wash, I do it for a couple of weeks, a month, depends what you're after. That'll help clean the eyes really well. It promotes blood and lymph flow. The Heal All tea, use that baby up. Absolutely. Use all your herbs up. Don't keep anything. You know, use them all up. That way you don't have all these bottles sitting around and little bits in each bottle. Just use them all up. Body loves that stuff. It's nutrition. Let me see here. This is watch out for this. I have been watching you for a while, and I cannot thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Your passion. Oh, thanks so much. Who is it? Hey, David. I have been vegan for 9 months. I have noticed that I have white spots on my nails, and sure, it's a zinc issue. Do you agree? You know what? I'm not sure, Dave. I've had a lot of ideas thrown at me. Fungus, zinc, all these things. Both things, however, would be directly related or indirectly related to the adrenal glands. Let's look at zinc for a minute. Zinc utilization is an adrenal steroid issue. Looking at fungus is also sugar metabolism problems. So, and of course, eating all the starch with adrenal gland weakness will definitely breed you a lot of fungus. So both of those can be at hand. I've also heard that it's a bruise. You hear all these things. I don't know scientifically if we really know. Either way, again, cleaning out the body, getting the glands up on board, all these things disappear. I don't have any white spots on my hands. I did growing up, though, for some reason. I remember them. So what do you recommend? I do recommend getting the adrenals up and getting the body healthy, going down the road we've been talking about. Because if you've been doing a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits and things, you're not deficient. Now, if you're not utilizing your nutrition, you can be deficient. And if you're not digesting or absorbing your nutrition, you can be deficient. See what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you digest well. There's no particles of food in your stools. 2, that you're absorbing well. Now, that's where the iris comes in and looks at that bowel collarate. Remember I showed you that bowel collarate? Do you have a thick ring around there? Do you have a brown ring around the pupil which shows malabsorption? If you don't, good. We could be pretty good there. Then you're going to go to the adrenals and utilization of most minerals. And are you doing that? Once that's up, everything should be quite good. The last, of course, is always elimination. You can utilize all the chemistry you want, but if you're not moving those acids out, you're not going anywhere. And then it'll eventually wrap around and affect digestion again and absorption again because it's that system that causes those problems. See how that works? So that's why I say focusing on the lymph system is more appropriate and more spot on because you are going to fix all blood problems doing it. So you always focus on that lymphatic system, and that's the system that's going to give remedy for the rest of the body there. Absolutely. Also, a recent blood test shows low levels of B12 and vitamin D. Well, I'm going to go to B12 to the adrenals again. Vitamin D, I'm still sitting on that fence. I recommend you get your adrenals healthy and you get out in the sun, Dave. Get out in the sun, even indirect sun, even if you're into some of these colder climates, get out, even if it's a cloudy day, and let some of the sun embrace you. That's what I would do. If you want to take vitamin D or D3, okay. I'm just not into that, but you can. B12, get your adrenals up and you won't have that deficiency. Thanks for your comment, Dave. Appreciate that. Scott, now a question about wearing moccasins and being barefoot. Aha! You guys don't miss a trick. My God. You guys are good. You guys are really good. One of my dialysis patients tells me that she is so sensitive to most prescribed meds. No kidding. She says it feels, I think, like her body is rejecting it, and she ends up having to take lower dosages or even try another. Always, she has been wearing moccasins for years, just like you. Are you trying to say, oh, Dick, Scott? Do you think being connected to the Earth's vibrations have an adverse effect when taking meds? Well, I think your body doesn't want chemicals irregardless. You know, and especially when you get real acidic and really sensitive in the adrenals and kidneys, you get too much of these chemicals in your body and you react to every single thing. And I think the bottom line is that her body's just saying no, no, no. If she's on dialysis, it's a lymphatic no, no, no. But in a healthy situation, drugs become even more dangerous. That's why I warn you guys, if you ever get in the ER, just don't. The antibiotics are probably one of the, I mean, they're all dangerous. The most dangerous, I think, are the anti-inflammatories, like Imbril. They definitely have a lot of fatal events attached to them. But Cipro, an antibiotic that has many fatal events attached to it. And yet, we still allow it on the market. And Cipro is used quite readily today. And just PDR Cipro. See what you think. It's vomitous. So I think she's real sensitive. Her body's real sensitive. That makes her lymph system sensitive. Sometimes when you think you're cleaner, you can handle more toxicity. And to a point, that's true. But on the other side of that, the body gets even more sensitive to toxicity and can have an adverse reaction. And this particularly when it's chemical medications, the fatal event side of it can be very real to a healthy person. A toxic person can handle toxic drugs because someone asked one day about adaptation. And I will say to this point that the body can get very toxic. And it adapts to toxicity. Even though it's breaking down, it just kind of accepts that and gets more toxic, breaks down more and more and more. When you turn that whole picture around and you get healthy, toxins can kick your butt bad. So you have to be real careful. The problem with this is too much sensitivity on a toxic planet. And that's why I'm saying tear it up and then balance back out, because we live on a very toxic planet. Pretty soon, for some of you guys, breathing the air is scary. And that's why just breathing the air is problematic. So I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say to that. We have to keep preaching the choir and keep trying to get this get people to wake up and quit making the earth toxic, because making the earth toxic is making humans and animals toxic. They just don't get this. It's the sleeping souls out there that have become very narcissistic and just drown in their own opinions and concepts and idealisms based upon government propaganda and crap. It's just unreal. It's like that study that was out this morning, and it showed that a large percentage of the people in America are depressed and unhappy, obvious with the government and everything. And they couldn't understand that because Obama claims he won the election by a huge margin. No, he didn't. He won it by 50-some%. So they were wondering how so many people can have discontent. And I thought, why would you even think that? Because it's obvious. So you got to watch this. I'll say this about toxicity and barefoot, but I think the moxicum, I don't know, I have always had to do it. I couldn't I love the feel. I love the earth and grounding. At the same time, I like to be out of my body and away from this earth. This is OLI. I've been on the raw diet for a few months now, but just started to incorporate some cooked porridge in the morning. Is porridge good for the body? Or shall I stop eating it? Thank you, OLI. Good for Candida. In the sense, if you want to keep it around, well, you know what? Something once in a while like that can be a little emotional treat in that respect, even though it is totally not in the order of things. But at the same time, you know, I don't ride the perfection band here. I think that that's okay for a few, but I look at the few and really out of balance. So you have to be careful about that. And you know, I don't know what else to say about it. We've talked a great amount about that on past videos. Oh, hi NX SUS6. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, thanks, honey. I hope and pray that your videos get tons of views. Thanks. I hope so too, because we need to help this planet. Because I mean, what a week. I mean, at my age, my only thing is this area of creation, but that has a residual effect in these higher levels, because this is really just the effect of the mind and emotions. Really is. We're just playing the effect here. This is an already created universe. We're just playing the effect, believe it or not. Ever heard of deja vu? Well, we're just playing the effect. However, in getting the body healthy, it resonates back to the emotions, which is the astral body, back to the mental bodies, which is the mind, and there's several aspects of that. And then as you pull back away from that, you start to experience things that are more truthful, more whole, more... you start to see things that were hidden from you before. And it's just all cool stuff. And it's so much fun. You got to make life fun here. Because if we don't, we get trapped with all that's going on. The government's going to, they're all going to go down. The World Bank is either going to take them down and go down itself, or just the whole concept of materialism like this is going down. The greed and all this on itself, okay. But we have to be separate from that. We have to understand that if you want to play an active role, by all means play an active role, but detached active role, because you want to bring freedom and succor to the individual. It's always about the individual versus social consciousness, and that's the God versus its creation. So the social consciousness is creation. You notice that's the agenda here in this country, is to make this a socialized country. And now they want to make a move to stop the Republicans from being able to filibuster or stop the Democrats at all. And it was in the thing, they feel like they want to get the utopia of socialism here. Well, I think Palmer, didn't he make a statement, the golfer, the other day about California? And he's kind of eating his words, but he's real careful about the choice of his words. All right. I hope it, thanks, sweetheart, because this is the truth that people must know. And I think that too, sweetie. Thank you for taking the time to share your, oh, thanks, honey. Now knowing what the heck was going on. My doctor was clueless. The possibility of lymph blockage never even come up. And that's the problem with that. And once they break into this, because there are medical doctors out there, talked to one the other night, as I said, she's in a group of 9. I have some friends that are medical doctors that are turning around, and I think that's important. The nice thing about a medical doctor that can do this level, if they can maintain this level, is they can help you in a stat need. More so than maybe even I can, because I have to be real careful about certain things. But it's all making sense now, and I've really learned so much. Thanks, sweetheart, for your comments. I appreciate you. And absolutely, this is, you can really, it's almost endless where you can go with this. It's so cool. It's so much fun. And consider yourself on a tropical diet. And there's nothing like the tropics. The water soothes the adrenals. And that's another thing, you know, get near some water and look at the beautiful water. It soothes the adrenals and the emotions. I have an 8-year-old child who has autism features. I am looking for something to help him to detoxify his body. He does not take medicine easily. Since 6 months, we eat raw food vegan. Before we were lacto-veg. Well, at least you were lacto veggie. That's good. Get rid of the dairy products, because on top of an autistic child, they're going to always have the adrenals. Well, where you see the adrenals, you have the kidneys, and where you see those two, you have the lymph. And then some of these vaccines or some of these neurotoxic events, they can shut down these little children's nervous systems because of these already genetic issues we've been discussing. And you're just seeing this over and over and over again. And it's just a sad thing. So we have to wake up, because and if these other guys don't wake up, okay, but we have to wake up. We, the people, have to wake up and take our own health in our own hands. We always needed to do that. But we got lazy and said, okay, this guy can help me. No, most docs can't help you. Have you noticed that? Take the power back. You get the knowledge. I'm giving it, it's all there, and challenge it all you want. But take it on and wear the robe and challenge it that way. And then we can talk, you know. And so you just, this is what you do. Now also with an 8-year-old, you want to do the brain and nerve, 1 or 2. 2 I like better. Upper circulation, get some power moving up here. At the same time, you want to do a little kidney and maybe lymphatic 1. An 8-year-old, you only need is lymphatic 1 liquid, kidney number 1 liquid. I would do the brain and nerve liquid, the upper circ liquid, maybe a little endocrine gland liquid. Now, you just put them in one bottle and just use a dropper full, and you can just put it right down their mouths as 1 squirt. Or mix it up with some applesauce, you know, fresh made applesauce if you can, but 1 little squirt and you're done. And on an 8-year-old, you're probably looking at you know, 6 to 8 drops or more even. I think Jennifer would, on an 8-year-old, would probably give you 1/3 of a dropper full, but you could get with Jennifer on the dosage with that. Since 6 months, okay, let's do that. He loves fruits, especially bananas, and that is the power that'll make his brain grow. Eventually, it'll move any neurotoxicity out of him. But yeah, that's good. Keep him on those high things. But not so much the vegetables. Well, you know why? Because we're frugivores, honey. And this is the thing. Babies don't like vegetables so much. Fruits. Tasty, love them. I mean, you can see these young children, if they're anything, you can say they're more intuitive than we are, because they're just being. They don't know yet. They're not conditioned so much. Ooh, I like this. And it's always to the fruits, berries, and melons. I'm telling you, I've done this for 40-some years. I see this. I see it all the time. Very rarely, some do go to the vegetables, okay. You know, but the fruits, berries, and melons, they'll develop that brain and that nervous system of that child beyond maybe what you want. Be honest with you, because you start getting them too smart, too young, a little bit of a problem in some ways. Okay, he eats during the day just fruits and at night veggies, salad with some sprouts and nuts, and sometimes a soup warmer. I think you guys are getting this pretty good. Quinoa, millet, buckwheat, or potatoes made in a steamer. I'd be careful with those, this young chap, because you're getting into the starches. That will clog the body, bring candida into the body. I'd get away from those starches. I really would. Maybe some, like I say, sweet potatoes, some warm veggies and stuff like that would be better. Even though millet and quinoa is alkaline, it's still starch, and it's still very difficult for an adrenal person. And if you have an 8-year-old, I'm telling you, you know, not to be, but you know he has kidney and adrenal weakness. If he's showing autistic tendencies, then either from the vaccines he's had some nerve suppression. Again, detox that out. At the same time, build that up. Building the adrenals of this young man and cleaning the kidneys would be smart. This is Tink Zorro. I appreciate the comment, my friend. I work as a massage therapist, and having found you, I no longer want to be a tissue manipulator. Well, you can be a tissue manipulator in a different way. You can be a tissue manipulator through the herbs and foods. And this is a real good tissue manipulator because you have a remedy. you notice that you won't have to keep working on them, because as you pull and you move that lymph, this is the best way to knead the muscles in its own way, because you're going to open up the reason why they're backed up that way. You're going to open up that doorway. You could actually be a massage therapist, but open up in detoxification their issues. Find out and learn your neurolymphatic points, and really going to go far with that. Neurolymphatic points are really a good way to get into that. That's kinesiology. Add those neurolymphatic points in with that at the same time. Put them on a detox program, and you'll have a nice little practice there. And then you'll just grow in your reputations, because you'll be a curative massage therapist. You know, I've told you before, we had a massage school beside our clinic for years, and she would bring the students in, and I was a little hard on them, but I needed them to understand, why are you taking this field on, and what do you think you're doing with people, and so they can learn and grow, and also learn about the kidneys and adrenals, and your reputation will precede you. And that's how we, as a group, stand strong, we stand good, we stand ethical. Enough of this calling us names. You know, medical doctors have called us names for years. I've been called everything under the sun. And states and all this crap. It's time we stand up with a strength of godliness, but a strength of power, a strength of conviction, a strength of truth, and a strength of humility. You can't beat that. You can't beat all those things. And soul sees truth, and it'll help them to develop theirs, because what you see, you want to replicate a lot of times. And so that's why I say we must walk with conciseness and appropriateness too. Oh, look at this. She's found a great herbal medicine school. I highly recommend that. Based on an herbal garden, and have decided to do this route. Oh, I love that. And you'll have the massage, you'll have the herbs, you'll have detoxification. You're getting well-rounded. Pretty good. I like that. Rather than the under-degree route. Yeah, hopefully in a few years, once I've completed that, I cross the pond to do your detoxification course. Come forth, my friend. I've been detoxifying, and it's been, but once you do it on yourself, and you do it deep enough, you get a good feeling. You start doing it with your friends, your massage therapist, do it on your patients, and you do and do and do, and pretty soon you're getting more familiar with it, more familiar. You start learning the in and outs, when to fold, when to hold, when to go. You start learning all those things. At level 2, we're going to do a lot of this, because at level 2, that's all we really have left. You need to get the basics, and I don't want the basics to be at level 2. We already know the basics. We'll cover them a little bit. We want to know, what do you do, you know. And I tried to stretch the courses as much as I could, but, you know, it's basically time for us to get into protocols and what do you do and that sort of thing. And, of course, you've got to remember, you guys are going to be learning a lot, too, and I like sharing information. Relative stuff, not stuff that's, hash stuff, but relative stuff, you know. I've been detoxing. It's been a bit off and on since it got cold. And you know why? You're in the UK, and it's, when it's cold, it's alkaline. And alkaline, and too much alkaline is too much alkaline, like too much acid is too much acid. The balance has always been the key to success. That's what Buddha found. The middle path, the balance. You can't go right, you can't go left. You go balanced, and you'll find yourself a better way. And he enjoyed both sides, and what brought him into the balance. Since detoxing, I've had a strong pressure in my eyes, which has also got very red and sore. Okay, so I'd candle my ears, about 2 or 3 candles per ear. I would definitely go after my GI tract to see if I can pull this sinus. You could neti pot the 3-lung tea, or just start drinking the 3-lung tea. That'll start breaking up hardened sputum or mucus. This hopefully will allow some sinus drainage, or chew on horseradish root.
Our 2 o'clock is on.
Can you do it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there a consult line in this office?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can cut this off, because I've been 2 hours already. I've got so much to go through, but I can cut this off. I can do that. You want to sit in here?
No, I'll go in there.
I think there's a consult line in there. Just knock on the wall or something, and I'll come in if you want to. Thanks, Jenny. I have to let her do something. Also, having never had a filling in my... She's never had a filling? Oh, my God. In my life until the age of 28. Ooh. I think the acid being released in my system during detox is eating away at the filling, because it's like it keeps dissolving each time it's refilled. Look at that. Your body's trying to get rid of it. Well, don't get a metal filling. Don't get a metal filling in there. Get a composite filling. It'll stay a lot longer. Your body, if it's pulling that metal filling out, boy, your body is detoxing good. It don't want that metal. Metals, except for implants, I'm against metals in the body, that's for sure. I don't even wear jewelry. I can't handle metals. And yet a lot of the minerals are metals, and I'm just not a real metal person. 4 times on the one same tooth. Well, you know, you also could be getting some regeneration of the enamel. Some of you strong constitution people that don't have a lot of lymphatic problems, you know, you're going to see some regeneration of the teeth. And that's fascinating. I love that. I mean, there's so many neat, cool levels you can achieve. It's so exciting. Like, it's unbelievable. It's like, do we really know there's a ceiling to this? I don't know. Pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. We ordered a machine that takes VHSs and converts them to DVDs. And I have a lot of videos, so hopefully I'll put you up some videos up on the YouTube, just for the fun of it. Old things that we've done, some stories that were done on us. Pretty cool. I've had to have a root canal, work 4 times on the one tooth. Well, it sounds like that lymph in that area is just breaking down that tooth, you know. So you could just, you know, try to get this detoxed up in here and get this bowel opened up and get this whole head moving, because that pressure is a good indication that your lymph's backed up in your mouth and in your head, and that's just what you're going to see happening when that happens. I know when these chemtrails came around a lot here, I got the stiffest, tightest neck, and I'm working it back out with the lymphatics, but I'm telling you, I don't know what they put in the air there, but I tell you, a lot of us were getting extremely stiff necks and stuff. That just, you know, don't piss off the people too much, governments. Just a little key to what can happen to you if you do. People are not going to take this toxicity too long. I think let me see, any ideas? It's become infected a couple of times, and I turned down the antibiotics. Well, again, use the lymphatic formulas, the Parasite M, keep pulling this out. You had a root canal, but it sounds like you're just sitting there with that lymph just chewing you up there. I think that goes along with not moving out. So get those bowels cleaned up, get the kidneys filtering, start pulling this stuff out of here, get the 3-lung tea. You can use make sure your parathyroid is in good shape, and you can use the Bones form if you want to try regeneration real quick. So you could use a parathyroid glandular and the Bones formula and stuff. And see if that would help you to strengthen that up. But you can't strengthen until you remove the acids that's breaking it down, in my opinion. Now, you might be able to override that a little bit, but keep pulling on that lymph. I think it's tied to what you're talking about with the pressure there. Use an herbal antibiotic. But their whole thing is, and finally my dentist is finally getting to the realization that acids are the key and not bacterium. Bacteria is just going to break down the acids. That's their job. But we mistakenly look at tooth with the bacteria and think it's a bacteria when it's the acids that's doing. Bacteria is just after the acids. Or any food particles, anything that needs to be cleaned up. That's what bacteria does, cleans up the mess. The problem is when we weaken cells, does that become part of the mess? Yeah, move your lymph, Go on a 40-day grape fast. That'd be a good one. Just saying. He wants to just take the tooth out. I don't want to, but I'm wondering if teeth are the sacrifice in detoxifying. If you have one tooth that's really creating more and more of a problem, and you just can't get that lymph moving, then I would probably suggest the removal of that in an implant, because if not, you lose your bone. It'll start. That's what happened to me. I thought I could do it all, and it just chewed on my bone a lot. So, you know, sometimes it's better to get that toxicity out of there, including the dying tooth. Because if you had a root canal, it's probably going to be a dying tooth. So you want to get that out of your bone and get that infection out of there, get that lymph, and you can't keep moving the lymph as you know it to be, and not to affect your bone. You don't want to lose bone here. And so that would be more or less my suggestion. My gums are receding. So this is all about acidosis, dear one. And this is all in your head. So you got to get this head to drain lymphatically. Well, it can't drain if it's sitting on top of obstruction. And that's your bowels, that's your kidneys. Get the lymph nodes clean and all that. Absolutely. Interested on your thoughts on this matter? Much love to you. Thank you. Thank you, Tink. T-I-N-K. You'll be all right. Oh, let me see. This is from Patricia. I have a question about how the kidneys drain the lymph fluid. Me too. I was taught that after a lymph is filtered in the lymph nodes, it then travels through the lymphatic trunks and then ducts and finally empties into the subclavian veins. Yep. Yep. And I remember I told you that there was a college professor the other day, a female, and she is an anatomy physiology professor, and she agrees with me. It's just not the way it works. And that's the way most people are taught, it's the way massage therapists are taught. That's why they massage and knead to the heart. You actually need toxins to the heart, do you? You see what I'm saying? No, 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 no. And if you look on the pro charts, I got pro charts over here on the lymphatic system. I'm looking at it right now. I don't see any kidneys. I don't see the kidney ducts. Why did you leave them out? So, you explain it to me and then we'll all know. I know the subclavian veins ultimately enter the superior vena cava, absolutely. And then into the right atrium, absolutely. To get what? Oxidated, right? And you're pumping acids into the aorta. Have you ever noticed that through chemotherapy? This is acids. What happens to the aorta when you dump chemotherapy into the aorta? Aortic aneurysms. You just don't dump acids into the venous system. That's what the spleen's for. If you hadn't noticed what the spleen is for and how it cleans the blood, you know, you have to get away from some of these antiquated theories that hold no water. So you'll have to tell me then, dear. The right side of the heart sends blood into them. We all know that. Okay. From the heart, the blood enters the systemic circuit through the aorta, blah, 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 blah. The renal arteries branch off the abdominal aorta. This was, I was told, was where these... Well, you were told wrong. You do not, the kidneys are the filtering. You can experiment on yourself, and you can see the difference between kidneys that are not filtered. Matter of fact, this YouTube channel should offer you a lot of that, especially on the Facebook, of the people that have worked on their kidneys, got themselves filtering, and guess what happens when that happens? Your symptoms start to go away. So you'll have to learn something new as far as I'm concerned, because I was taught this too. And then as life went on, I realized that's not true, impossible. And now that I have a lot of professors agreeing with me, maybe we'll change that understanding, huh? A lot of theories must be changed. I bet it was hard for the scientific community to learn that the world wasn't flat anymore. I bet that was hard. Like it's hard to learn that Jenner and Pasteurier are maniacs. But that's hard. Yeah, there's some hard lessons that we're learning. Too hard. Now, I have always thought it to be odd that this toxic lymph residue be returned to the blood. Thank you! Absolutely. You're smart and you're right on point. You are the first person who has ever stated a more logical explanation. Thank you, Patricia. And absolutely, honey. And this is the thing. This is how you'll have to work that out. But all I can tell you is you can see the difference between kidney filtration and not, symptomology with that, associated with that. You can trace this and watch this. Client, I'm blessed. I've got to see this on tens of thousands of clients. What woke me up, because I was taught the same thing, and I'm going, no way. You can't dump acids into the venous system. No way. And you can't convert all acids to bases. That just doesn't happen. You can convert, carbon dioxide a little bit, but you can't do all these uric acids and lactic acids. You have some breakdown of these acids by bacterium and lymph nodes, absolutely, but not enough to dump back into the venous system, because you're still, if you dump anything but around 7.4, you're going to alter that pH, this waxing and waning of the pH factors. Yes, we bring in a little higher chemistry, but tell you the truth, what do we got? Cesium's about 8. So most people don't eat nothing like that. That's why you see so much calcium problems out there, because of all the acids going into the venous system. That's the one thing. And then if you look at research of what happened to using, well, when we were introducing chemo in a port down here in your hand or up here in the brachial, you'll start to see the collapse of the artery, What made it collapse? The calcium was sucked out of the wall. Why was the calcium sucked out of the wall of the vein? Because it was acids going in there. The body had to neutralize these acids, or what? So that's the problem that we face here. So you're with me on this, and this is real important. And when we look at this, we find the answers are opening up. This simple, being directly filtered by the kidneys, being returned back to the blood. However, the path of this fluid from the lymph nodes to the kidneys eludes me. Me too, a little bit, dear. But we'll have to figure that one out. But like I say, the pro chart over here totally excludes any duct to the kidneys and any kidneys, period. And it's like those kidneys fully have a lymph system in it. Matter of fact, the kidneys can still filter itself a little bit up until you start to see your creatinine start to climb. When you see your creatinine climbing, you know now your kidneys are breaking down from their own acid waste, let alone the filtration. So have to work that one out. I can't by chance explain that to you, because that's what we talk about with some of the professors too. Got to figure this one out, because you know it is a fact. It's just figuring this out from anatomy and physiology perspective. Also, does it mean that the lymph fluid that is returned to the subclavian veins are already been filtered and is thus safe to the empty into the blood? It would have to be, because if you think about, if you're designing a body, and you know you have two sides of chemistry that you created. One, you needed to be aggressive, and at the same time, different levels of aggression, from estrogen aggression to hydrochloric aggression, to then you have byproducts to deal with. Because you know that all cells are going to have byproducts produced, and you have to get rid of them. You're not going to reabsorb those byproducts unless you can return them into a base scenario, because it's going back into the venous system. And it doesn't matter, the venous system is just a system of unoxidized blood. But then that's why you go to the right aorta, right into the pulmonaries, get oxygen, and carried right back to the left and right out to the left ventricle. That's why you see that. And you would not carry, acid byproducts back in toward the heart. That would be idiotic. So I don't know, you work on this and get back with me, Patty. It doesn't matter to me anymore. So, but if you can find those answers, I would like to know that too, because that's been the problem, is figuring out how that route is. Osmosis, diffusion, I don't know. I really don't know. And do we visit there first, like you said, venous-wise? But again, here's the thing now, in dialysis, you can clean the blood, but what is still breaking down? The lymph system. You'll still see that in your dialysis patient, even though they're cleaning the blood, because it's backed up obviously into the blood. But you can have kidney failure and not have a septicemia or anything like that. And most people are in kidney failure, they don't have septicemia because their acids are not being dumped in the blood. You can imagine dumping sewage into the blood, septicemia, toxemia, death would be short. So you know that's an inaccurate, inappropriate thought. How it works? Good question. Good friggin' question. That's why I say we don't have all the answers, but we have some good ones. And that's what's important. We don't have to know it all. And sometimes there's some answers that can't be answered quite yet. But we know that by going this route, we're successful at regeneration, because we proved it over, and over. Not on 1, not on 2, not on 10, not on 100, not on 1,000. Tens of thousands of people worldwide have become healthy going down this focus. And I think we're pretty balanced here. I do. I think we're pretty balanced. I don't teach too much austerity. Hey, Brandon Fox, haven't heard from you in a while, my friend. Hi, Doc. I've been plagued with a list of 24 allergies. You can get allergic to basically anything. Dust, dogs, blood components, you name it. I'd probably add some green drinks, Brandon. If I was doing this, I'd add some green drinks of high parsley, high dandelion green when they're in season, high spinach, high greens in there, definitely some beets in there, beet bulbs, and see if that can help to neutralize some of that. This is the lymph system straight away, not the blood. This is the lymph system. Whenever you see allergies, go lymph. I mean, it's just always, when you clean that lymph, you're going to clean all these toxins from these foods and from these things. You're going to clean them right out, and then your allergies will go away. So you really want, that's where you find that system. The problem comes in when the adrenals, low steroids, and all the issues that steroids do for you. I mean, you can get into this, rip your brain out and everything else. Or you can do what I learned to do years ago. Instead of pulling your hair out, trying to find out all the answers, at least we have a lot of them. And that's good enough for me at this time. You guys are young. You guys can take it. And that's what I think should happen. And then we can figure this out more scientifically later. But for now, we have to get the folk healed and cleaned and out of trouble. I have a very acidic and toxic body, and I have been for a very long time. I know, Brandon, and sometimes it just, and I have no easy answers for everyone either, because sometimes it takes years of work. No offense to anyone out there, but, sometimes it does take years of work. I think we do pretty good. You can see some people up walking from wheelchairs in 6 months to a year. You can see most cancer cases are done within 6 months to a year. So you can see a lot of things are done there. I've had some quick turnarounds. I've seen on our health program, stomach cancer gone in 56 days, as I've said. Newspaper observed that one. We've seen, I had a young girl in France with a lymphoma gone in 45 days on fruit fast. I mean, I've had some quick turnarounds. But generally speaking, easy 3, 4, 5, 6 months to 8 months. Now, we're not talking about treating those things, but we're talking about going down the road of health. You start kicking out those tumors, you start kicking out the acids and rebuilding the cells, and as you go down, all these diseases just seem to all disappear. Interesting. So I know you're up against a lot, man. And then remember the adrenals. Here's fibromyalgia. When you have you could actually use fibromyalgia as an example. Systemic acidosis, arthritis, systemic acidosis, whether it's RA, osteo, doesn't matter, Lyme's, lupus, these are all systemic acidosis cases. What factors it affects? Scleroderma, all these things. Each one can be worse than the other in terms of pain and what it does to the joints and location, and all these factors that are affected by the body. Which steroids are up, which steroids are down. All these factors can play. But if you get too intellectual about it, you'll get mind clog, and pretty soon it'll inert you to where, and you'll start disempowering yourself. So when you keep it simple, that's all that's necessary. What works? What's involved? For those science-minded, which, here, let me take my science mind off and you can have it now. Because there's too much of this hitting walls. And chemistry, hitting walls. I just had a big dissertation on chemistry a little while ago. And that's a problem. Theories here, theories there, theories abound. The problem with theories is look at allopathy. It's supposed to be a scientific organization. Ha! If that's the kind of science we have to deal with, look at the rate of deaths and people that have been damaged. Extremely so, down to not so much. You see tremendous amount, hundreds and hundreds, millions actually, that have been killed, destroyed, damaged from that thinking. So that thinking has to go away right now. Learn what we can from it, throw the rest away, and come to a higher level of healing. All you medical doctors, if you're listening to this, bring yourself up to a higher level of healing. Your heart will grow, you'll be loved more, your patients will actually hug you instead of cuss you, and you will actually be able to feel good about yourself because you were able to give that person a remedy. And you can't use toxic chemicals anymore. It's a no-brainer. Yet there's some old medical doctors sit there and fight with those toxic chemicals. Those are constipated people that need to get out of that field and quit hurting people. Because we don't have to hurt people to get them well. Not necessary. Now, stat needs, emergency medicine, love it. And if you combine homeopathics with naturopathics with allopathics, we'd have the best ER there ever was. Sorry, Brandon. Got taken off on that. Basically, the worst of the worst is what I've experienced during my 26 years on this earth. The toxic rock now. Toxic rock, hard. It's a hard rock. Beautiful in some places, but not as beautiful some places you guys are going to see if you're watching and doing out-of-body or having lucid dreams. Have any of you had experiences with the 1,000-petal lotus yet? I've had a bunch of you there. I have been eating 90% fruit with a salad for close to a year now while taking many of your herbal tinctures 3 times a day consistently. I watch Dan the Man a lot, and I think it's time I commit to a 21-day water fast while drinking distilled water. Medically supervised, of course. I have experimented with fasting before, doing a ton of 24, 32-hour water fasts. Well, I tell you, Brandon, you're digging it up. Now, I'll tell you this. If you get out there and you keep getting out there and keep getting out there and you just can't seem to get it all together, stop it all and pull back and get some homeostasis, get some balance for a little bit, and then go back. Because sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes going deeper and deeper is just so difficult on the human psyche and on the adrenals and on the body, just because it's way out there. Sometimes you need to balance out sometimes and just get around. That's what Dan the Man did. And look, he's a more balanced individual. And he did the same thing I did. We just take it out there, take it out there, take it out there. It's fun. A lot of you young guys and gals, you guys are ripping it apart. Well, I think that's essential to get to sometimes where we need. Sometimes you got to pull back a little bit and take a little bit of a breather, and then go back. Let the cells balance out, because you're opening a new world to 100 trillion cells. You're opening a new world to your own consciousness because you're getting more self. But you have to be careful in that, because there's the ego on one side, there's the toxicity on this side, there's all these different sides. So sometimes coming back into a balance sometimes helps you, because you're tearing it up. Don't ever beat yourself up. You're doing quite fine, Brandon, but like you said, it's your body you're up against, not yourself. I watch your vids every day and have read your book, and you don't discuss water fasting much. Well, I don't, because I'm real leery about getting people there right now. I'd rather see people start. Water fasting, though, I've done a lot of it myself. I used distilled water back then. And unfortunately, I was living in my van, so I didn't have a distiller, so I was buying it in plastic. No glass out there. So that was problematic. Myself, because of the acidosis out there, I really like an earth mountain energized mountain water that's got a pH of 7 to 8. And I like to detox with that, because there is some magnetics there, there's electrical activity there, and that electrical activity will actually, in my opinion, help the detox. So I'd rather see that. As far as water fasting, drink as often as you want, and drink it down. I don't believe in overdoing water fasting, though, where you're drinking in lots of water just to get the water down, in terms of X amount of water for X amount of weight. No. I can't tell you how much. I'd be quite truthful, it's been so long since I water fasted, I can't remember how much I did at any given time. I've always been one that eats or drinks when I'm thirsty or hungry. That's all. I tried to find the natural and listen to my body, what it wants. In such a dehydrated state, I do recommend not distilled water. I do recommend an energized water nowadays. As the body gets cleaner, maybe down the road, yeah, maybe. If you use a distiller and you're not touching plastic. And the problem even with distilled water and metal, osmosis, leaches, because it's void. And anything void, that's how cells move in and out nutrition. That's how fructose gets through a cell. Also, I mentioned to Dr. Goldhammer, Director of True North Health, Santa Rosa, about my fruitarian detoxing lifestyle in the past year, along with taking your herbs, and he said that was anything but the right thing. How I need to have some veggies in my life, soups, beans, etc. To Dr. Goldhammer. I don't want to battle with him on the subject, so I let it go. Well, everybody has an opinion, don't they? So I don't know what to say. I disagree with this gentleman so often. But I will say this, depending on your level of consciousness, when you get through getting into the body and cleaning it out, you're going to balance out. So what? No sin in doing that, and you probably will. I have salads now, which years ago I didn't, but I have salads now just because I can't get fruit. I can't get the good stuff. And I sometimes I just cry and I look at the fruit and I'm just disgusted, because my body's saying, fruit, baby, bring it in, baby. And then I have to eat a salad. Okay, I like them, they're okay, but they don't have the power. They don't have the high nutrition that fruits and berries do. They don't have any of that. So Goldhammer says, have soups and beans, huh? So after my long-term water fast, is it still conducive to my health and detox regimen to be as a fruitarian as possible? Well, I really like balance. But in detoxification, fruits, berries, and melons. But that's not to say that you can't go this way with detoxification a little bit. It's nice to get way out there in fruitarianism, but if you're still feeling really bad and you haven't got that out of your way yet to feel the power come in yet, you want to keep playing with that. You can go back and visit some green juices or something like that to help with so much toxicity factors and a little bit of balance. You could do that, absolutely. And that'd be okay. But adding beans, try this. Where you are there, try adding beans to your diet right now, Brandon, and see how you feel. You'll be able to tell real quick how you're going to feel, all right? Lastly, can you go into the best water to drink? I currently drink bottled. If I know it's bad, it sucks, but not sure. You know what? RO is acidic, distilled is acidic, so I've showed this before. I don't know. I drink this water at home only because we can get it. It's from Italy. It's a mountain water, spring water, but its pH isn't what I would like. It's just right at 7. I like a little more. I like about 8 myself, but you know, Albion still uses plastic. Beautiful place, though, right up there in the Swiss Alps or the French Alps. Got beautiful up there. Been up there. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Water's energizing. I like energized stuff, you know, electrical stuff. Enough of the dead stuff. Thanks, Brandon. Hope it's helpful. You know, I can't give up yogurt. Oh, Abdul. Oh, man. Bend over, Abdul. 3 lashes. 3 lashes. Hello, I'm Abdul. It's hard for me to get away from yogurt. Please, 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 please. What's your view as a raw vegan plus just yogurt? It's okay, though. It's organic yogurt. Mucus forming, Abdul. Mucus. If you do it once in a while, okay. You know. Like I said, my greatest downfall from fruitarianism was a health food store and raw yogurts. Columbia. I had sold Columbia a lot. I can't even remember the brands, but that was a good brand at the time. Raw milk yogurts. I got into that. Nope, my body didn't like that, and I didn't feel so good. I got into the nuts. Got into the, you know, I just got into all. It's organic. It's raw. Right. So if you can, my friend, stay away from the yogurt and make it once in a while. Treat. You can mix it with fruit and have fermentation. You know what I mean? It's Abdul again. Thank you for your email. It all makes sense when you talk about raw food and other detoxification stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Abdul. I have seen 3 doctors to cure my lipoma. They all said I have one. I have one too. So don't worry about it. Basically, I can't without worrying about, yeah, don't worry about it. I've got one too. Oh, please. I like that level of thinking. Matter of fact, I'm sick of that level of thinking. Let's get in and get rid of it. I mean, when you have an event that is not a health event, then get rid of it. I would like to know and what I got to do to dissolve my lipomas. Well, you have to get the acids out of your body. They'll be the last to go and it'll melt right away, but you have to get your lymph system moving. Remember, lipids are antacids, and we have people that their skin is like a dragon's back. Oh! So you have to detox that body, get that liver cleaned out, by the way, and get that adrenal gland back healthy and your kidneys filtering, and you'll see that all melt away on you nicely as it can be. Which I have about 20, yeah, I'm familiar, and all over my body, mostly on your arms. See, I was sitting there right beside you. You didn't even feel me, did you? You guys got to be more aware. I could be sitting there right beside you talking to you and you don't even know it. I tell you, I used to have a master play with me like that. And I got him still playing with me like that. But, you know what? Which I have about 20 all over my arms. It's all small size. Yep. It'll dissolve away. But move thy lymph, because it won't until you do. And once you get rid of that lymph and that subcutaneous toxicity there in the lymph system, this acids, you'll find these lipids will melt away and everything is good. And I'm running out of time, guys. Oh my God, I have so many great questions. My God, there's so many of them I want to read. I'm going crazy. You guys got so many great questions now. Oh my God, there's some very important here. I have an 8-centimeter lump on my right side of my throat, and here's one. God, I could sit here all day. You guys, oh my God. This is from Damon. First, oh, thanks for loving my videos. Thank you, my friend. I have an 8-centimeter lump on the right side of my throat, which is also deviating my trachea. Wow, okay, now listen. This is everything we're talking about here. Get your bowels cleaned out, get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals up, get this moving, get this cleaned out. I'll say, if you can't get this out quick enough and you're closing your throat and they're going to have to trach you or go into a gut, then pull it with black salve. That'd be my best take on this. The doctor gave me an MRI, ultrasound, and a fine needle biopsy, and I am still not 100% sure what I have. It's a tumor. It doesn't matter. Just call it a tumor. You'll be safe. Don't be scared of tumors. Pocket of fluid. A tumor is a pocket of fluid. Aha! What kind of fluid could a tumor have in it? Any thoughts out there? Oh. Of course, wants to remove my right thyroid and my lump, but of course, I obviously do not want to undergo surgery. Then get your butt on detoxing, and I suggest you get a couple weeks under your belt, take off on a 20-day grape fast. Grapes and grape juices, darker the better. Really start pulling on this most aggressively. 2 kidney formulas, 2 lymphatic formulas, make 1 lymph node 2, the other lymphatic 1 capsules. Take 2 kidney formulas. If that was you, this is what I'd do to myself. Let me first state that. I'd work on a GI and a GI broom. Really start cleaning that out and start moving this lump out of there, man. Nothing good comes of this. You got to get this done, and get this done now. Don't mess around with this, okay? Keep your thyroid. You need it. If this lump sits on my right thyroid and is hard as opposed to soft as the doctor thinks, what would you recommend? You could do some castor oil packs on this. I don't know what I think about oils and tumors anymore, but biggest thing is get your lymph broken up. Get this moving. You could do hot and cold applications to maybe keep it kind of pliable a little bit, but man, you've got to get this right kidney not filtering. Get these lymph nodes cleaned out and that. If not, I'd put black salve on that before I'd have my thyroid removed. I mean, one thing is a little worse than another. 8 months ago, I was on a normal diet and a smoker. I am now raw and quit smoking. Do you think? You see why, Damon? Juicing my greens, eating my fruits, and eating my salads. Nix-A on the salads and greens. Get 100% fruits, berries, and milk because you're after something important here. So get rid of the greens. Get rid of all of this. And now you're going to hold you back. And then take off on in a week or so, take off on a grape fast. I would. And I would do it like yesterday. I use your Year Old Tea and have lymphatic 1 and adrenals. Get 2 lymphatics and 2 kidneys. Get the kidneys. Open up the kidneys. Get the adrenals to turn on the kidneys. Get that bowel clean too, because this is the throat sitting on top of the colon. Get that all cleaned out. Does your thyroid formula help? No, don't take the thyroid formula. We talked about that before. Don't kick up your thyroid right now. Don't make that tumor grow with waste. Don't create more waste and byproducts. Get this out of here. You don't want to stimulate your thyroid. It can be quite confusing. Well, because activity creates more waste. Anytime you're more active, you have more waste produced. Well, all the tumor is a pocket of waste. So don't make more waste so the tumor will grow. So just relax, and get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals to get your kidneys filtering, check your urine, do lymphatic 1 capsules, do lymph node 2 liquid, nice tumor buster, and start cleaning that lymph system out, and this will go away. And that's the best way I can tell you. Damon, put yourself on start out with 2 or 3 days if you can, but head for 20. And get on that grape fast and pull this thing out of there, my friend. Oh, gosh, there's so many people hurting, and I just wish I could help every one of you right this minute. This person was on Prednisone for 6 years. There goes the adrenal glands. And even after coming off it a year ago, my cortisol levels are still 0. Huh, yeah, I bet. Oh, these docs, they drive me nuts. Okay, so what you got to do, get on that glandular, get on a gland. What's your blood pressure's got to be low with this. If it's not, it's going to be high. Well, that's just low blood pressure. So get you an adrenal glandular, probably 200 to start, depends where you are in your blood pressures. Get your kidneys filtering. Keep hitting that. You can use. I would probably use the adrenal glandular and the adrenal herbal both. and try to inspire those to wake up and to start producing. That'd be the best way I can tell you to do that. Thanks for your... This is Jane. Jane, my adrenal glands were shot. Well, they did that to you. You probably already were weak in there. Of course, weak steroids, high acidosis of the human body. You don't give steroids. Oh, but they're treating symptoms. They got to get out of this thinking because they're wrecking people's glands by doing this. Remember that one medical doctor said, oh, it's just sleeping. So, Jane, your medical doctor, is your gland's just sleeping right now. Oh, but I need it. Oh, no, you don't. It's just sleeping. It'll wake up one of these days. Oh, really? That's not the message it's been getting. So those cells are fine with that. No message. Okay, good. I can relax. Too much. Yeah. And you could, I don't know, you have to look at your case where you might hit the pituitary. Oh, you're on the adrenal 400s. Whoo! Yeah. Three times a day for 1 year. What? As well as the pituitary. 3 times, well, I guess we told you there. Three times a day, and I'm still no better. Holy crap. Whoa. Well, the only thing I can tell you is add the herbal in there, hit the kidneys, hit the lymphatics, hit everything together with it. Because it's possible that the adrenals are just can become one mass of lymph now. And that's suppressing your adrenal glands on top of all that. That's the danger of being on prednisone. And you were on it for 6 years. Pretty much whacked your adrenal. Keep hitting it, because I don't know anything else. If you find something, let me know. But I don't know anything else. Use the mind and empower those adrenals with mental energy too. And that might help you there. But that's all I know. I've been fruit all day and a salad at night for 1 year. I'm so tired I cannot do anything. Holy crap. Yeah, she's also on kidney, lymphatic, and bowel formulas. I feel like giving up. Well, love you too, sweetheart. I don't give up. I don't know what to tell you. 6 years is a long time on prednisone. Jerry Lewis, I mean, take a look at that guy. I mean, he can't even breathe anymore because of that. I tried to think what else can bang the adrenals awake, you know, because you're on there. All I can tell you is that this psychiatrist, I told you about him before, had total adrenal exhaustion like this, and he was on 6, 3, 4, 5 times a day. So, all I can tell you is, you have the tools that we have mostly. Try to go up from there with the glandulars. You might try some green drinks, high parsley, high dandelion green if you can get them at this time of year. I doubt it, but high parsley would be good. Beets, things like that to clean more aggressively, parsley to hit the kidney and adrenals, and do some real high-powered concentrated green drinks. Try that and see if that'll help. Might want to put some alfalfa in there and hit that adrenals with some high minerals and see if that helps. So I've got so much here, but I've got to go, guys. So I love you all, and I understand your guys' dilemma in some of these cases, and this is part of the problem. And this is part of the problem when you have glands that are already weak, and then they're doing steroids on top of it. And we've had a life of meat eating, which gives the neurotransmitter part. So that's the same thing happens to people's neurotransmitter production as the steroid production. So all I know is we all have to work together and pull ourselves out. I don't have all the answers. You know, you guys find out if you find out anything else there that can help you with that. Other than that, to go up with the adrenals. I've seen people take 6 at a time. And I just go up slowly, go up to 4 3 times. That seems like an austere thing to do, a radical thing to do, but taking prednisone for 6 years, he pretty much helped you fry those babies. And they were probably already fried to begin with. So just don't lose patience. They will come back. And just keep working them, keep working them, keep working them, keep going after the health of your body, and just keep going after health. Don't let things wig you out, and just keep going after it, keep going after it, keep going after it. And one day they will wake up, because you have all your karma on top of that too. So relax, 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 the best you can, and then keep all that working. And that's all I can tell you. If you find something else out there, let me know. But I tell you, there's not a lot of tools that we have. That's why I think it's so important to stop this insanity now, because right now we're struggling to get people well, much more than I did 40 years ago. And I get to see that through the years, and the struggle genetically and everything else is much worse. That's why we have to. We almost have a duty almost to help this consciousness of this. And those that'll take, those will, and those that won't. There's going to be people that just won't get, just doesn't care. That's okay. The meek will inherit the earth. Remember that one? I love you guys. You take care. Remember, I'm always with you. And just as quick as a thought. And always practice on being more yourself. Get to know yourself. Spend time alone. Get time alone by yourself and love that which you are and that which is creation. Because creation is beautiful in its own right, but it has the two sides. Always remember. And it's just the drama. Beautiful view today, but don't lose yourself. And get your happiness and your joys back because you deserve it. And don't let the life bring you down too much. I've been guilty of that myself. And we don't need to do that. And it's time to let ourselves grow and be happy. And always practice on being the observer of life. And stop thinking so much. That'll help you out a lot. May the blessings be. Baraka Bashad. Namaste. Love to you all.